Hey, everybody. It is 11 o'clock Central Time and Wednesday morning, and I'm Dr. John Sherk, and that means this is Brown Bag Lunch, where I bring whatever I can bring you in 6 to 10 minutes that enhances the lives of technicians. So I want to go back to something I haven't talked about in a while today, which is just the issue of clear communication. This is the most fundamental, basic component, I think, of the air conditioning business because at the end of the day, air conditioning, while it has a very mechanical component, is actually mostly about people and being able to communicate status uh, clearly and understandably is one of the most important roles in giving good customer service to a customer, as well as just being a professional technician. So, what are the components of clear communication? Well, first, the content, the primary content of the communication is composed of data and judgment. Okay. Data would be like saying it's 60 degrees outside. Judgment would be like saying it's cold outside. All right. The data is just the measured, uninterpreted the data of the situation. Sometimes we use the word facts, but we use fact in a way of an undeniable judgment. You know, if it's 0 degrees outside, that it's cold is a fact. Well, in fact, it's really still a judgment. The 0 degrees is the data part of it. Okay, so the judgment you can get at in any situation by just saying, what is it about blank? What is it about this customer? What is it about this piece of equipment? What is it about the condition of my truck? What is it about the relationship I have with my manager? What is it about? The answer to that question will tell you your judgments about that situation. So, data are things like this room is 80 degrees. The call came in at 1:45. I've worked on a chiller once. This is the second call on this piece of equipment in 4 weeks. Okay. Judgment wise, this should have been fixed already. I'm experienced working on chillers. Our techs are frustrated. This customer is hard to work with. Those are all judgments. But the primary content of our communication will be a blend of those two things. Okay. Now, the important part here is if we're talking about status, for example, and by status, I simply mean what is the current state of this project? The customer always wants to know what your status is. And so and by that meaning what's going on, right? You ever have the customer who comes and grabs an upside down bucket and just sits there and watches you work? Well, the reason is because they want to know what's going on, right? The more that you create gaps of time where they don't know what the status is, the lower your customer service gets, the worse it gets. Because in the absence of information, people assume the worst. And so part of your customer service approach should create a seamless experience where they know the status of everything they need to know, all the way to the end, right? If you're going to leave, go to the supply house, tell them, I'm leaving now to go to the supply house. I'm expecting it to take me about an hour. And, I need this and that. And in an hour, I'll be back. So they don't just have the experience of you walking out to your truck, driving away, and they don't know what's going on, right? Same story inside the operation. You need to be able to talk back and forth about, what is your, what are the expectations here? What are the expectations about wearing booties if you walk into a house? What are the expectations if you're a commercial guy? What are your communication expectations when you walk into a customer site where their previous communication has been with the dispatcher and not with you? Do you check in? What do you say when you check in? And so on. What data needs to be on a service report and so on. Okay. So that's the core part of it. Now there's an unspoken component of it, which are feelings, want, and action. And these are kind of secondary forms of communication that will confuse what is heard in the data and the judgment if they're out of alignment with it, right? So the statement, I'm not angry, is a judgment. But the statement, I'm not angry, has an emotional component to it that is not in sync with the statement, I'm not angry, because I'm showing them the emotion of anger while saying I'm not angry. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. When there's an emotional component of anger, sadness, happiness, uh, embarrassment, that is out of sync with the content that's coming out of your mouth or out of, well, however the communication is happening, that it sends a mixed message and leaves the person on the other side of that wondering, which of these am I supposed to be listening to? So feelings is the first one. The second one is what I want. So have you ever had a conversation with someone and it's clear they want something? And if you say, well, it sounds like what you want is to go to that Italian restaurant. And they go, no, 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 no. You decide. And you're left thinking, okay, I, I'm pretty sure you're telling me you want something, but you're not saying it. So now I'm confused. Right. Um, and then thirdly, what actions you take. And this is kind of an obvious one as well. If I'm a manager and I say, look, I want everyone in this building at 7:30 on the dot every day. And the next 5 days after I say that, I roll in about 8:30. My actions are telling everybody maybe I didn't mean that. Okay. So as you're doing your communication, you need to be able to be conscious of all five. Not don't become don't become uh, sort of cautious unnecessarily or insecure about your communication, but just realize the difference between data and judgment. It's extremely important because there is no status without data, right? If you tell the customer, don't worry, I got it, and there's no data, they will probably not know if they should believe you, right? Data and judgment. And then the other components that can create confusion if they're not in sync, your feelings, what you want, and the actions that you take. Data, judgment, feelings, want, action. Okay. So there it is. Communication 101 in all of 7 minutes. So if you can take that, kind of own that, if you'd like for me to, if you'd like to talk some more about this offline, or I actually do this talk at a lot of safety meetings. There's, if you'd like to just engage with me about this and see what we can do to build on it together, just reach out and let me know. Also, keep an eye out on HVAC Joy Lab. Where the podcast, we're a little bit choppy right now in our consistency of posting, but we're still recording, and I'm assuming we're going to get back to steady very shortly here. So that's it. If I don't see you before, have a very, very Merry Christmas.